Writing an outstanding resume can be the most challenging and frustrating task, especially after knowing that according to top resume statistics, 75% of the candidates don't get past applicant tracking system. This is 75% of resumes get rejected before they're even seen by recruiters or hiring managers. But don't worry, in this video I'll share with you how to make your resume and killer experience set you apart from all the other candidates by using the right resume font size and style. Hey guys, Emilia here from Emmy Powered, bringing today the best tips and tools in how to win at life and level up your career. And hey, if you're new here, subscribe. As I mentioned before, most resumes don't get past applicant tracking systems or ATS. Meaning they aren't actually seen by a recruiter or hiring manager. And this is because applicant tracking systems collect, sort and scan and even rank the resumes it receives for open positions, and they reject the least qualified candidates based on their resume's format and content. And guess what? Font style and sizes, they do fall into the format category. The biggest takeaway from this statistic is that it is very important to have a well-crafted resume. On my video right here, How to Write a Resume, I share with you how to craft an outstanding resume. And I've also mentioned briefly about resume fonts and sizes. But today we'll deep dive in why do fonts on resumes actually matter and how can they allow you to make it or break it on your job search. When we're thinking about fonts, there are three really important things to consider. Number one, compatibility with ATS, the applicant tracking system. Number two, readability, and three, aesthetics. Don't worry, I'll cover all of this. Most resumes at this day and age are being read digitally, either by the applicant tracking systems or by recruiters. For that reason, you need to ensure that your resume uses a font that is compatible with ATS, but also that can be read on multiple digital devices like mobile, tablet, computer, just to name a few. One way to ensure that your resume is readable across devices is by submitting your resume on PDF format. You should always save your resume and send your resume as a PDF document unless you're asked to do otherwise. A PDF version is always the best format, as PDF will look exactly the same in any device. So what font styles are ATS approved and will make your resume look professional? Here are a few examples. It is true that an attention-grabbing font can set you apart for the right, but also for the wrong reasons. For instance, using Comic Sans on your resume can make you look too juvenile and lead a recruiter to not take you seriously. A question you might have is, can I use different fonts on my resume? I recommend going for no more than 2 fonts. Having a variety of fonts on your resume can compromise the readability, as using too many fonts might make your resume feel too cluttered and even make your resume and you look unprofessional. 2 fonts maximum is ideal. You can have one font for your headers and sub-headers and another font for the content of your resume. And if you want to play it safe, it's totally okay to only have one font style on your resume, but never more than 2 fonts. Let's now talk about resume font sizes. As we know, resumes are a one-page document, and most people minimize the font size to try to squeeze in as much information as possible. Comment down below if I have just described you. Even though recruiters are most likely to read your resume digitally, you don't want to give them any extra work or make them take any extra steps to get information they need about you. This is, you don't want to make them have to zoom in, zoom out, go right, go left, and lose the focus from your resume content. So what are the best resume font sizes? Opposite to font styles, you can actually mix font sizes on your resume. However, to not compromise readability, you shouldn't go below 10 points. Let me share with you some recommendations that will ensure readability and professional aesthetics, especially if you're using the template I shared on my video right here about how to write a resume. For the content of your resume, use a font size of 10 to 12 points. For your headers and sub-headers, this can be something like 12 to 14 points. And your name at the top, it can go a little bit larger, like 16 to 18 points. Of course, this will depend on how much space you have to play with and the aesthetics you want to achieve. And never forget, when it comes to fonts, the main objective is readability. Another thing to take into account regarding resume fonts is testing how they look on paper. This is, how does your resume font style and size look like after your resume is printed? Many recruiters do print a copy of a resume, and they quite often bring it to your job interview, and so should you. Testing a resume font styles and sizes is really important, especially for testing how your resume looks like digitally and when it is printed. But don't worry, the list I've shared right here will get you covered. A frequently asked question about resume font sizes and styles is, can I use bold, italic, and underlining on my resume? Some people use bold, italic, and underlining for emphasizing information on their resume. My advice to you is, don't overuse emphasis on your resume. If everything is emphasized, then nothing is emphasized. It's fine to bold a section header such as work experience or education, or even past role titles you have held in the past. But when you overuse emphasis, especially when referring to your work experience, it can start to lose its meaning, or even disrupt the flow of the recruiter's reading. On the overall, bold, italic, and underlining will make your resume look cluttered and crowded, decreasing the chances of it being read by the recruiter or the hiring manager. On top of this, underlining is something that you should strictly avoid. First, because it is associated with web links, and second, it won't be scanned or converted on applicant tracking systems, as underlining does not play well with lower cases like G, J, and Q. And if you want to know more tips on how to write a resume that will get noticed by applicant tracking systems, recruiters, and hiring managers, check out my video right here.